politics, policies.
Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at
proper accountability.
Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, on Twitter at Mainland FM. We are Sound of Lagos. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, on Twitter at Mainland FM. We are Sound of Lagos. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, on Twitter at Mainland FM. We are the Sound of Lagos.
Of course, you know when it's 4 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, it's about time we come together to have a conversation around politics, around policies, around decisions of the government as it affects you and I, especially in our quest to get quality standard of living, also on the backdrop of some of the promises made during the election. I'm talking about enjoying the dividends of democracy. Welcome once again to the Situation Room, live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This program comes up on the airwaves every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5 p.m. We'll talk about so many things. We'll talk about, just like the name of the program, it is the Situation Room. We bring everyone together as roommates. We fraternize, we cross-fertilize ideas. We ask what you think about some of these government policies, and in the process of doing that, we bring analysts, seasoned analysts, experts, people that understand the intricacies of some of these decisions, some of these policies that the government, often bring on board. And I've always said this, and I will say it again, until everyone gets tired of listening to me. Any policy that the government brings up on board and it is not people friendly, it is not generally accepted. Of course, there will be times where people will call into question why some of these policies are made by the government, but ultimately it's about the people. It's supposed to improve the quality of lives of the people. It's supposed to provide security for the people. It's supposed to provide a level playing ground for them. It's supposed to encourage small-scale business operators. It's supposed to encourage middle-scale business owners. It's supposed to also encourage large-scale business owners, the employers of thousands, the employers of hundreds, the employers of tens, the employers of 5, the employers of 1. That's exactly what government policies are supposed to be. So you look at some of these situations and you ask yourself, if the government is not intentional about fixing the challenges that the people are facing, then there's no point having a form of government that expect people or that make people expect from the government. When we build up to the election, words are said, promises are made. There's always a very thin line between campaign promises and propaganda. In most cases, what we have in this part of the world is mostly propaganda. People come in just to, ride on the wave of what the people want. Perhaps typical of what we had in 2015, where it was anybody else but the PDP, anybody else but Goodluck Jonathan. The APC came up on board after the merger between the then ACN, the CPC, a faction of ABGA, a faction of PDP, and they rose with power from the People's Democratic Party that had been in government since 1999, produced 3 presidents, 2 still living and 1 late. Talking about Olusegun Obasanjo. By the way, he was in the news over the weekend, and I think in the course of the week, we will probably just jump into that conversation. I'm hoping I will be able to get someone from the traditional circle. I'm talking about maybe a royal father or something, to join us on that conversation. If you've seen the video where the former president Olusegun Obasanjo instructed the Obas to stand up, that wherever he is, it is the protocol for the Obas to stand up when he enters, and then he told them to stand up and he commanded them to sit down immediately. It looks like, when you're sleeping in class during lecture and then your lecturer, catches you sleeping and he tells you to stand up, sit, stand, sit, those kind of, exercise that will clear the sleep in your eyes. Yes, that was exactly what Olusegun Obasanjo did to the, monarchs that were attending that event. Well, it's a particular conversation that had, giving a lot of interpretation to it. We've also seen where governors, had prostrated flat down, for elder members of the society. I think the most recent one was when the current governor of Ekiti State, that's Governor Ibanji, actually prostrated for Chief Afe Babalola SAN, and a lot of people were saying, oh, as a sitting governor, the protocol does not allow you to prostrate openly. I've also seen videos where the immediate past vice president, Professor Yᴏᴜᴛᴜ Mᴜsɪᴄ, actually went to visit his mom, and he prostrated chest down. I mean, it's a very, very interesting conversation. But hey, the ʟʟᴜ himself, that's former President Olusegun Obasanjo, did not spare the royal fathers over the weekend. Well, it's always very interesting. By the way, the president and the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are currently out of the country attending two separate events, the G77 and of course the UNGA, that's the United Nations General Assembly, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be speaking, and of course the G77, that's the vice president also attending, representing Nigeria. So we're in a process where we're trying to attract a lot of people into the country, a lot of investors into the country. I think that was what we focused on last week Thursday on the show, Mr. Muyiwa and I, where we talked about the president is going out to attract investors to sell the Nigeria project to a lot of people. But then, are we really ready to welcome some of these investors in terms of our infrastructures, in terms of the security challenges that we're facing in the country at the moment, especially some of the policies that we have that doesn't particularly look business friendly? So those were the things that I discussed last week with Mr. Muyiwa. Today is Monday, and Dr. Tağ joins us every Monday. He wasn't with us last week Monday, and even the previous Monday he had to be somewhere else, but he's with us today, and we're going to be looking at the issue around the appointments that have been made so far by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, over the weekend, I think on Friday, there was a letter or a nomination that was forwarded to the floor of the Senate and waiting for ratification in respect to who becomes the next CBN governor. Remember, Godwin Emefiele still remains suspended and is still under investigation for different allegations. Some said is a unlawful possession of whatever, but so far so good. The president had nominated a replacement for him. We're going to come to talk about that. Beyond that, again, you also look at how some of these things will play out. There's been allegations of nepotism against the president, and
yes, good afternoon, OPEYEMI. I hope it's
him.
Yes, last week I was in a meeting, and it had.
You're very welcome. So let's get straight up into it. Dr. Tağ, I'm sure you've seen, as president or the governor is, the protocol remains that when they come in, the royal fathers or the monarch should stand up. And Olusegun Obasanjo said, and I quote, edit of that, before we get into the crux of the conversation. Protocol states that Ejoko and everybody.
Yeah, you see, and my own Yoruba land, but virtually all over the country. So they are the suburbs. Where is taking Shisha? It don't say the what we call thinking. I will be able to control what I'm supposed to control, and especially Apple.
They actually brought water over the, and Muhammadu Buhari that comfort zone. See, then when it was not,
and we just all say that we are. I don't share in an appetite. Very easy and a life that it can work. So I will on a.
So the people that are getting it also nominated 3 weeks or they're coming to the studio to talk about it. Well, Mr. President had previous for sports from that the Minister of State should man the Minister of State Jamila Ibrahim said this individual more
solution of 100-meter dash with the dog. You want to ask me how? The doctor went to the king to say he can defeat the dog in a 100-meter dash, and the dog look at the doctor, is you with this your leg that you cannot carry. Eventually, the king now set a date for that competition. And before that competition, the tortoise went to the abattoir in Abuja to buy the best of the bones and you now cook those bones that honestly speaking, nobody will see it and want to run away. The tortoise now place those bones on every 10 meters. And each time the dog gets there, it will sit and be eaten. Why the tortoise was focusing on his vision. At the end of the day, the tortoise won the race. That is a good proverb for Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu to take note of this evening. That is one. Two, when it comes to the youth, for me, I have no definition for being useful other than agility, and being able to grapple with contemporary events. Anybody that can do that is a youth. Who will say I'm not a youth? Okay, can you win 100-meter dash with me? I bet you cannot. Anyway, what I'm saying in essence is this: as long as we need the foresight of the youth, so also we need the insight of the elders. And Yoruba, we say, "Oh, ọmọdé to pepe." But we
already have elders scattered across other ministries, Dr. Dakaude.
No, I know. Listen now, I'm coming now. What I'm saying in essence is this: it is good that those youths have been appointed, but they should not shy away from running to their elders within the ministry. Those that are having experience within the ministry, for them to be able to succeed. The dog, while others were killing their parents because of famine, he went to keep his own in the sky. So at the end of the day, when the community was now in trouble and they were now looking for elders to come and help them to solve the problem, the dog went back to the mother and then gave him the advice. And that's what made the dog at that time to be the leader of that community. And I hope those young guys, which I'm seeing the opportunity to congratulate, will also learn from that. They should not shy away from the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the other.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dakaude. Now let's go back to the speech of Mr. President on the day he was sworn in. That's the 29th of May. And one of the things he said was that he heard the voice of the youth and is going to respond to it. Now look at the cabinet of the president. If you look at the age bracket that falls under the youthful category, none of them are actually under it because it's supposed to be 18 to 35. But I mean, in a country where we've had 67, 65-year-olds become the national youth leaders of political parties, we've seen 62-year-old, 59-year-olds become minister of youth and sports. People that can barely even lift, their legs, talking of being mobile, are actually holding such posts. Is this a sign of good times that we have the likes of Bosun Tijani as a minister, we have the likes of Betta Edu as a minister, now we have the likes of the two new ministers now that have been forwarded for nomination. You also look at the likes of Honorable Olubunmi Ojo now, the Minister of Interior, all of these young people being at the corridor of power. Is this an indication that the young people are beginning to take their place, or you think it's one of those, in your own word, political patronage?
Yes. You see, when you also look at those youth, don't be surprised that some of them are sponsored candidates. Some of them, I'm saying, are sponsored candidates.
Of course. Dr. Dakaude, your party would have to sponsor you from the state. So that is normal.
That's not what I'm saying. For instance, it could be their father that had worked for the party, but the father or mother or uncle or whatever is not qualified to be a minister, they will not say, okay, bring one person. I will give you an instance. Look at what happened to El-Rufai. He was nominated a minister, but it was not clear by probably DSS or whatever. And for the president to maintain that relationship between himself and El-Rufai, he asked El-Rufai to nominate somebody to come and represent him. Are you aware of that? Look at the actual MD of the MPA, the Airport Authority. That lady. Maybe you remember his name. Go and Google her. Then you will know his father's name. Then you will know the position of her father in the northern hegemony, in the northern political hegemony. For you to understand what I'm saying. Much as I appreciate the youth that are coming up, because in my language, they always say something. Kọ́ bá ti ní ọmọdé rírun. I hope you will be able to interpret that.
I hope so.
Now that some of those youth into governance, they will also be learning how to climb the rope one way or the other. So, if anybody is saying anything, I don't think it should be much of a distraction to the executive, to the leader of the government. But if he allows that to be a kind of an abatus to him, well, all the best for him. But I have given him the people of the tortoise and the dog. Whoever is listening, let him hear.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dakawadi. Well, it's going to, open up the conversation a little bit, because what I actually wanted us to really bring out is the issue of, the distraction, especially the voices coming around within the APC in respect to these appointments. Some of them feel, the president had not consulted well. Some of them feel some of these people getting this appointment did not truly work for the government, for the president to emerge during the election. So I'm asking you again, do you think this is a needless distraction, or you think is the president just doing his thing and being within his comfort zone?
Well, you see, as a member of APC that has gone through the primaries within APC before being sworn in as the president, even though the case is still in court, but at least he has been sworn in. I will not join a conversation with anybody saying that is bringing in this, is bringing in that, without considering people that work with him. But if what people say now, so people said he work with him. That is, you see, in any government, it's not possible for you to satisfy everybody. In that office you are, okay, so we just be doing nice service. So we'll be looking at you that why is he OPEYEMI actually? Why is he not me? And that's the way life is. Everybody cannot be satisfied at the same time. And if you are saying you want to satisfy everybody at the same time, so that we can call you a good boy, eventually you will fail in whatever you want to do. Eventually you will fail. So for me, when I do my thing, I listen to my mind. I peradventure. Tinubu is listening to his mind. So if people are saying it, I say, yes, he has not done this for them, he has not done this for them. Well, another election will soon be here. For me, I don't believe that, yes, these are the Lagos boys in charge of, it's what's his name? A Lagos boy the one in charge of the mineral resources and all that. What's his name again? Alake is an Ekiti man.
But then he's always been at the helm of affairs in Lagos all the time.
Since what time? He won with Tinubu during his tenureship in Lagos.
That was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago.
He has never been government. Even though he has been working with them in TVC. But that's no government. Do you understand? Will you say Alake is an old man because of his white beard? He's still a youth. Because you can see agility in him. So what I'm saying in essence is, yes, only in Yoruba there is a Tᴜɪ̀ᴛᴛᴇʀ Mᴜsɪᴄ. Labaja to even use to sing the song. There's no way everybody can be satisfied. No way. And whoever sees that, yes, is seemingly, now I'm using the word seemingly, quite frank, we definitely shout. I have somebody who is very close to me. I won't mention his name. When you look at his writings on social media, it's always crying that this side track. That TCC are taking everything over from TCC. Meanwhile, TCC and ACN came together to form a peaceful. But ACN are taking everything over. Because themselves Buhari boys. So it's normal. It's normal. For me, I'm sorry, it's normal.
Now, Dr. Akade, let's go back to your party, the PDP, and let's talk about what is happening in Edo State. The last few months, it's not really been a very good story between the governor Obaseki, and his deputy, Comrade Philip Shuaibu. And it got to a point where the deputy governor actually had to approach the court that the court should stop is alleged impeachment by the governor and the Edo State House of Assembly. Well, I think a few weeks ago, he actually went to the court again to withdraw the case that he filed against his principal. Now, report reaching us this morning says that he's been barred from accessing the deputy governor's deputy governor's office in the government house. Let me read this. He said the deputy governor has been barred from entering his office in the government house on Monday. He said that the gates leading to the deputy governor's office was locked with no one around to open the door for him. The deputy governor was here in the morning. The gate leading to his office was locked. There was no one to open for him. And his office had also been shut because the new office he was told to move to is outside of the government house. Dr. Akade, there's a governorship election in Edo State in 2024. And of course, don't forget that there are 3 mid-season elections in Imo State, in Kogi State, also. But then there's one in Edo State next year, and the deputy governor has said it over and over again that he wants to succeed his principal. All of these going forward, your party, the PDP, went into the last election with a divided house, with a shattered roof. Now this case is brewing up again. It's brewing up again between 2 people, Dr. Akade, that left the APC and moved to the PDP, got the mandate, won the election. Now, what exactly is going on between Comrade Philip Shuaibu and his principal, Godwin Obaseki?
Now, you see, there is nothing that is happening in Edo State PDP today that is new within political circles. I once told you on this platform that politics has to do with intrigues, maneuvering, and tricks. Intrigues, maneuvering, and tricks. And when election is coming up like that, especially to succeed, look at what is happening in this case. But look at what is happening between him and the deputy, just because midterm election is coming. So there is nothing new. But the beauty of this is this: at the end of the day, people always appreciate what we call democracy. At the end of the day, it's either Tᴜɪ̀ᴛᴛᴇʀ show his principle that listen, I was among those that accepted you to PDP then for you to become governor. Then let him show his power to that. Or the governor himself will now say, yes, so it is true. You are one of those that received me. But at least I have been your governor for so many of years. That is what made democracy to be never seen before. That we see, do not see.
Okay, before we open the phone lines, now I want to ask you a very open question. Why is it always difficult? I mean, we've seen this thing play out at several times. I mean, you look at the case between Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and Ganduje, both of them are governors and deputy governors. We've seen what happened between Akeredolu and his, former deputy Aiyedatiwa again. We're seeing what is happening in Edo State. Residents he had at some point, but especially when it comes to the issue of who succeeds presidency contest, but what exactly is going on that qualified to take over from them?
Institution is and the depth of their principles, nothing more. To that extent, they see them as their tires into power. All right. Number two, we human beings, we have been wired to dominate. Go and study society. Everybody wants to be in the forefront, which is not possible. And unfortunately, this governor, they don't want to believe. They don't want to see that their time is running out. More importantly, when they are not trying to see their time running out, and then the government is not tapping them, oh boy, your time is running out, so I want to be there after you. You will definitely get them angry against you. Against the deputy.
That's what I'm asking. Why are they angry? I mean, government is about continuity. So wouldn't you think
they don't want to see? They don't want to believe that their time is running out. Why don't they want to believe? It's because of the perks of governance. They know that the moment they are out of that office, all those perks will stop. So if you are not reminding them, you can remind them if you don't have any vision of taking that place. But when they know that you have a vision of taking that place, you are reminding me, Abi. You are reminding me, Abi. You I say I don't know. At the end of the day, they will get aggravated and they become angry. You need to study the DNA involved in some of these things for you to understand what I'm saying.
I'm really trying to, but it's okay. I mean, it's always the unique thing about Nigerian politics, because I would expect that if all things being equal, if the governor or the calculation aligns, and maybe you're from the same, or maybe it's your senatorial district that is supposed to be the next in line to be the governor, and you would expect again that if politics is about continuity. I mean, you've been my deputy for 8 years. You understand the logic. These are the projects that we've not finished. These are the projects that are at this stage, different stages of completion.
Even the governor himself might have been trading off with some people, might have done one thing or the other. And some people will say, yes, they are going to aid you. And after aiding the governor, if you don't make me the governor or you don't make that person the governor, we are going to expose you. Don't be surprised. It's all about horse trading, like I said. It's all about horse trading. But unfortunately, most of these deputies, they don't plan their the placement of their chest thing. They don't plan it from the beginning. And at the end of the day, they get checkmated easily.
Of course, it's going to be easy for them to get checkmated if
Yes.
they don't have a defined constitutional role as such. So they're always at the mercy of. I mean, we saw what happened in Ondo State when the governor was away. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu SAN, when he was away for over 2 months, the speaker was performing the roles of the governor, despite the fact that the governor officially transmitted power to his deputy. The Speaker of the House of Assembly was commissioning projects on behalf of the governor when there's an active governor in space. Well,
That was not right.
it's absolutely not right. Well, I mean, these are the things you get to see in Nigerian politics. Well, we're seeing what's playing out in Edo State.
We need to change our constitution by giving the deputy governors definitive roles. Definitive roles. But it's also a pity that when those definitive roles, because those definitive roles are even there, that when you are going for a particular period of time, you must
transmit power.
So, but unfortunately, there are some people there, the judiciary, that are not making our constitution to be sacrosanct. And when the constitution is not sacrosanct, what do you expect? There be chaos and crisis. Like Adelaku said, don't like the he said there be chaos and crisis.
Okay. I just hope that we don't continue to deny ourselves the possibility of having logical people handle responsibility, because I sometimes when I look at these things and maybe I'm the one looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe Nigerians are seeing things differently, because I mean, if you work with someone for 8 years and the relationship was quite smooth, you guys work together as a governor and as a deputy governor, it is only normal if the person thinks. I'm not saying that the scope should be limited. I'm not saying that others should not have the opportunity. But then, I mean, the deputy governor is is also a Nigerian. As long as he doesn't own the ticket. Because I remember very well what happened in Kogi State. The issue of James Faleke and Yaya Bello. The party said that James Faleke did not contest for governor, so he wouldn't benefit from his principal that died on the day of the election, despite the fact that they won. And that's what brought Yaya Bello into office. James Faleke had to return to Lagos and pick up the House of Representative ticket. So I think a lot of events are continued. Happens, and then Nigerians would continue to ask these questions. Our constitution, our electoral laws needs to be deliberately reviewed so that to accommodate some of these new things that are happening. Well, let's continue to focus on what's going to happen in Edo State and Ondo State. Coincidentally, both of the elections are in 2024. 0913-600-0410. Dr. Dakar, I'll keep you on the line so that we get to hear one or two things that the callers want to, have about the topic. Well, we've looked at the allegations of nepotism within the APC on Mr. President in respect to some of the appointments that have been made. And remember, under former President Muhammadu Buhari, there were these same voices being raised. But I did a check, I think about some months ago, like 3 months before the end of administration of Muhammadu Buhari, and funny enough, the South actually got more appointments than the North under the last administration. That's what Nigerians didn't know. Go check it. The South actually got a lot of appointments, even more than the North. It's just that some of the key positions, some of the key areas of the economy were actually sidelined to, or let me say pushed to one particular region. But in terms of the general appointment, the South actually got a lot of appointments, even more than the North. Let me talk to Comrade Mᴜsɪᴄ. Good evening, Ambassador.
Hey, OPEYEMI.
You're welcome.
Are you the car just being to the land? Are you sure it's the one?
He's the one.
It's the one. Hallelujah. Dr. Kayode, for the first time, I drop out for you with the response. Honestly, fantastic. Really? Thank you. How are you, my brother? We are not friends again. Look, OPEYEMI, those youths are still there, like Dr. Kayode said. ᴜsᴜᴜ, those youths are still there. So, for me, I want the youth not to disappoint Nigeria. And moreover, on the CBN, whatever. Look, Mr. President is the only one we know. We got to hold him responsible. If all those is, I don't care who you're president of, but if I succeed, if he did not succeed, I will mention those two names in your blood. If it's me, we're going to mention. On the governor, Let us be ourselves. My dad used to tell me one thing. Musa, carry forward. If you didn't carry forward, second is a compensation. It's a compensation. And as those people you have seen so, they themselves do not put their hands where they belong. They are struggling with clearing with their boss. See, now I believe that I do not be Lagos. Only I just sleep now. But Obaseki with 9 assembly members, only 9 out of all cannot put in Lagos. I do not be Lagos. Now, as Christians, you know one thing like that. Yes, we should go and build another empire somewhere. Obaseki already built empire. Look, let's let them Lagos say. Here and that. And that is still high doctor. But it's you. He put the hands where it belongs. That someone will speak for him. He never speak for himself. Let the other doctor learn. He got to learn from Dr. Amzat. So that is it. So let's see how it goes. It's a big thing. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Our comment Musba 0913600410. Pastor Ambrose, good evening. You're welcome.
Good evening, bro. I think the issue of toasting, let me state very clearly that nobody is discriminating against Shuai.
This
is the one that is greedy.
somewhere.
Do you know that we have 3 senatorial districts in Edo State?
True.
We have the Edo South, the Edo North, and the Edo Central.
2 years.
Oshomole is from Edo North. The president governor is from Edo South. Ordinarily, the next person should be from Edo Central. You now want it to go back to Edo North. Apart from that, the Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly as we speak now is from Edo North.
Edo North.
So if you imagine when we begin to defend one state area, they are not different. The past regime was more in the south. But you see, the prominent will go to other prominent ministries. It was like that. And then for every sack, when the former president was there, it was a northerner. He was always sitting there. I think when we want to discuss politics, we should not say one state is better than the other. I must state with all fairness that Lagos is not better than any other thing. There is politics everywhere.
True.
And this politician is all about themselves and what they will benefit and their own interest. Good evening.
Thank you very much. Pastor Ambrose 0913600410. I think we lost contact with Dr. Tģᴇ at some point. I hope we'll be able to reconnect with him. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Okay.
You're welcome.
Mr.
Mr. Lakunle, good to have you.
For me, politics will always be politics, and I believe that I do no more in 2023. So at the heart of everything that happens when it comes to democracy, politics would always come to play. We have to always look, in as much as we talk about ethnicity, religion, balancing, it's more important. The reason is simple to everybody around people.
But can I quickly ask you a question, please, before you drop, Mr. Tģᴇ? Why is it always difficult? And this is the question I've asked a lot of people. Why is it always difficult, especially towards the end of this administration? There's always this break in, I don't want to say the word trust, because I will subordinate relationship to the end.
Know that there is deeper problems between them. That's the truth. And for example, Ondo State is clear. Akeredolu has felt it twice now, of people trying to critically make out a fiefdom under him, and probably he got to know. There is no how that will have to happen to you, because for me, I believe that loyalty is either 100% or
nothing.
So if you must, yes. And for politics, people also need to understand that selfish interest would always come first. Either you claim to me that you are for the masses, and there is always that selfish interest of wanting what you want to always, hold sway. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tģᴇ. Thank you very much for also, quickly putting that out. Well, I won't pick more calls today again. I want to just quickly say something. If you've actually followed what has been happening on the social space in the last, I think it was last week Wednesday, yes, almost a week now, talking about the death of, a lot of people know him as Mohbad. A lot of people may not even know his real name. I think one thing I've learned in all of this is that in whatever we do in life, we should always make sure that we surround ourselves with people that want to be in our lives with or without nothing. That means, I saw a young man. I'm quite familiar with his music, anyways. But I saw a young man that had a lot of people around him, but he had nobody with him. Because you look at the circumstances that surrounded his death, the way he was, buried, and the issue that had come up even after that, and to the point that the Lagos State Commissioner of Police actually just commissioned an investigative committee into the death, the issue of bullying, cyber bullying, physical assault, to the point that they had to even bring his father to be to witness the constitution of the committee. And it just shows that a lot of people are going through many things. But because they have the people around them that are only around them in their lives because of what they want to benefit from them, they find it difficult to open up to those people. I told my colleagues this afternoon before I came on it, I said, no matter what you do in life, find one person that you are very, very vulnerable to. This kind of person that no matter how strong-willed you are, when you are breaking down, you would always have this person to talk to. It doesn't have to be your relative. It doesn't even have to be your parent. Somebody somewhere that knows the best and the worst of you. My name is OPEYEMI. AKINYODE. Stay out of trouble and keep your dial locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. By 5 o'clock, the news headline will come through. Thank you very much, Dr. Tᴜɪ̀nᴛᴛᴇ. We couldn't reconnect with you. Apologies and thank you for joining us on the show today. And for everyone that called and texted, tomorrow is another day, 4 o'clock. I will be back to have another critical situation to look at. Keep your dial locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. By 6 o'clock, Sport Cruise will return after the full news by 5:30.
By the sound of Lagos. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. On Twitter at Mainland FM. We are the sound of Lagos. Follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. On Twitter at Mainland FM. We are the sound of Lagos. Follow us